Imagine waking up in the middle of a frozen mountain. It's nearly 30 degrees below zero. The wind is screaming outside your tent. Then something happens, something so terrifying that you cut your way out from the inside. You leave behind your boots, your jacket, your food, everything you need to survive, and you run straight into the darkness. No flashlight, no proper clothing, no turning back. It sounds like the opening of a horror movie. But it really happened. On one winter night in 1959, 9 experienced hikers vanished into the freezing wilderness. What investigators discovered shocked the world. And more than 60 years later, people are still asking the same question. What scared them enough to flee? This is the story of the Dyatlov Pass Incident. In January 1959, 10 young hikers from the Soviet Union set out on an ambitious winter expedition. Their leader was 23-year-old Igor Dyatlov. He was skilled, methodical, and respected by everyone in the group. These weren't inexperienced adventurers. Most had already completed difficult winter expeditions across the Ural Mountains. They carefully packed food, cameras, journals, skis, and enough supplies to survive weeks in brutal conditions. Their destination was Otorten Mountain, deep inside one of the coldest and most remote regions of the northern Urals. The journey was expected to be difficult, but nothing suggested it would become one of the world's greatest unsolved mysteries. Before reaching the most dangerous section of the route, one hiker became ill. He decided to turn back. At the time, it seemed like an unfortunate setback. Instead, it saved his life. The remaining 9 hikers continued into the mountains. None of them would return. At first, everything appeared normal. The group laughed together. They took photographs. They joked with one another. Their journals described difficult weather, but also high spirits. Snowstorms became stronger each day. Visibility grew worse. Still, they pushed forward. On February 1st, they pitched their tent on the slope of a mountain known as Kholat Siachel. Its name, translated from the local Mansi language, means dead mountain. That night, something happened. Something serious enough to drive 9 experienced hikers into a deadly blizzard. No one knows exactly what it was. When the hikers failed to return, their families grew concerned. Days passed. Then weeks. Finally, search teams were sent into the mountains. After days of searching, they found the campsite. At first glance, the tent looked almost untouched. But a closer inspection revealed something chilling. The fabric had been slashed open, not from the outside, from the inside. Inside the tent, their boots were neatly arranged. Heavy winter clothing remained where it had been left. Food, cameras, backpacks, everything was still there. It looked as though the group had fled in absolute panic. But what could force experienced hikers to abandon everything they needed to survive? Investigators followed footprints leading away from the campsite. Some prints belonged to people wearing only socks. Others appeared to be barefoot. The trail led downhill toward a massive cedar tree. There, they found the first 2 bodies. The pair had managed to start a small fire. Nearby branches had been broken several meters above the ground. Someone had climbed the tree. Perhaps they were trying to see the tent, or perhaps they were watching for something. Further up the slope, 3 more hikers were discovered. Their position suggested they had been trying to return to the campsite. They never made it. Months later, after the snow finally melted, the last 4 hikers were found inside a nearby ravine. Their injuries stunned investigators. Several had crushed ribs, others suffered severe skull fractures. Yet, remarkably, there were almost no external wounds. One victim was missing her tongue. Even today, investigators cannot say with certainty how that happened. Instead of solving the mystery, each discovery created even more questions. Authorities searched for answers. They found no evidence of robbery, no footprints from another group, no clear signs of an attack. Then, another strange detail emerged. Some pieces of clothing showed traces of radiation. The amount wasn't enough to explain the deaths, but it added another layer to the mystery. When the investigation ended, The official conclusion surprised everyone. The hikers had died because of an unknown compelling force. It was one of the most mysterious official statements ever released, and it explained almost nothing. Over the decades, hundreds of theories have tried to explain what happened. Some believed an avalanche forced the hikers to flee. Others suspected secret Soviet military testing. Witnesses also reported strange orange lights in the sky around the same time. That led to theories involving experimental aircraft, or even UFOs. Some stories became even more extraordinary, claiming the hikers encountered unknown creatures in the wilderness. Most experts reject those explanations. In recent years, scientists used computer simulations and modern avalanche research to re-examine the mountain. Their conclusion was surprisingly simple. A rare type of delayed slab avalanche may have convinced the hikers that remaining inside the tent was too dangerous. They escaped quickly, expecting to return after the danger had passed. But once outside, they faced freezing temperatures, powerful winds, and almost complete darkness. Finding the tent again became nearly impossible. The theory explains many of the clues, but not all of them. Some questions remain unanswered. Today, the Dyatlov Pass Incident remains one of history's most fascinating mysteries. Was it simply a tragic chain of natural events? Or does one final piece of the story still lie hidden beneath the snow? Perhaps the mountains know the truth. And perhaps they always will. If you enjoy true mysteries, unexplained history, and real stories that continue to puzzle investigators, subscribe for more documentaries every week. Thanks for watching.